825 Forest Road is a new Shudder horror film that is available on that service right now, and was directed by Stephen Cognetti, the same creator of the really good, mostly Hellhouse LLC series. It is about a brother who moves to the town of Ashland Falls with his wife and his sister after a family tragedy occurs. But this town is full of dark secrets and a past that no one seemingly can get to the bottom of. The family is a part of a strange series of events at their home that somehow connects to an ominous address that no one in the town can seem to find the location of, 825 Forest Road. We have another film that is already dividing people here, and is going to divide more as it gets seen more widely, and I understand why this movie will anger a lot of people. I need to detour for a second and explain myself. You see, I started this channel because I lost my mother last year, and I needed to do something to honor her memory. And she and I were huge cinephiles together, and we would argue about them all the time. She hated horror films, though. I plan on doing a long form video about that in the future, but for the sake of this review, I need to put that out there because this movie is about grief, losing someone that was your entire world, feeling like it was your fault, and how that affects mental illness, not just with you, but those surrounding you. This is another film that won't be for everyone, but if anyone has dealt with or is dealing with that kind of grief like I am, then maybe you will understand. 825 Forest Road is a meandering picture. It sets its mood strongly with wonderful cinematography, nicely understated music, and a structure that I really enjoyed. After an impressive opening scene, the film is told in chapters through each of the three characters' point of view, followed by one final chapter at the end. There are repeating sequences, but shown from a different light to give you more of a full idea of what everyone is going through during pivotal moments of the story. The best character for me is easily Isabel. She is the younger sister who is going through the grief of losing her mom. She and her brother had been estranged for many years before that horrible event had happened. The chapter that follows Isabel is the longest and the one that has the most emotional weight to it. During the parts where we are following Isabel, I got a lot of vibes of the film Carnival of Souls, where it's more about a feeling of uneasiness and just wandering and just a feeling of loss and pain without any real true answers as to what's going on. It's just a feeling of pain. The dialogue the three actors have is very boilerplate, and some of it is outright bad at times, but I was able to look beyond that because of the mood the movie is able to build, and succeeds in giving you that eerie feeling that something is just off. Ghost stories are nothing new, and they've been told many times and in honestly better movies than this one. But for what this movie is, it is effective. The brother learns about a therapy group of sorts that meet and talk about this mysterious woman who they believe has been the cause of the high rate of suicides in this city for the last 100 years or so. The brother named Chuck doesn't believe in therapy, thinks that his sister just needs to get over things, yet has some sort of change of heart because we learn later that his wife also has a mental disorder. He is easily the worst character in this movie. He reminds me of the husband from Oddity last year, but without that character's malice. Chuck is just a doof who only acts as a surrogate for us to intake all the exposition of what is going on in this town. He is a music teacher, his wife runs some sort of fashion business, and the sister is a student at an unknown university. When we follow Chuck during the first chapter, this is the weakest part of the film for me, and is mostly just an exposition dump, followed by some slight hintings at the horror that is going on in this town. Once we shift perspectives to the two women, then the movie picks up steam with its tension and pathos. These two women didn't even know each other existed a few months ago, so watching two women with mental problems attempting to bond over anguish is subtle, but nice to see. The wife is a city girl, but really loves her husband and wants to help her sister-in-law. And the sister is isolated, blames herself for what happened to her mom, and is the one who is targeted the most by the terror that is in this movie. Again, this is more of a movie about mood than anything else. And I was with it all the way and ready to jump on here and say, I don't know why people are seemingly hating on this movie. That is until I saw the final 10 minutes. The final 10 minutes, without getting into spoilers, I feel does a disservice to the thesis that I believe Cognetti was going for with this story. Or maybe I have it wrong and he only wanted to insert stereotypes of people going through mental problems to lean more into the horror aspects. I don't think that's true though, because the horror is minimalistic and mostly suggested. The only times the horror shows itself is at the start of the third act involving a sequence of a chase inside of a house, and an interview being conducted by one character to another. That's when the horror finally kicks into gear, which is why I think that Cognetti was trying to juggle the idea of a family coming together to find a way forward after a family member passing while filtering it through a ghost story perspective. But I think he didn't know how to end his movie because, to be honest, it doesn't end. It just stops, and not in a good way. I'm trying to be as vague as I can so I don't spoil anything, but there's a running thing with a mannequin, and because I saw both Hell House and Oddity, every time that mannequin was around, I was laser focused on it, waiting for it to do what you know it is going to do. It's minimalistic enough that it didn't make me groan, but honestly, who in their right mind would own a mannequin that looks more menacing than Annabelle does? All three of these people are artists, so they had to have seen some movies. The film takes place in present time, so did none of these people see any horror films with creepy dolls? I personally call BS on that. But regardless, I can't deny that the mood of the picture and the messages about grief still stuck with me after the credits began to roll. I understand why this movie is angering people, because it is a drifting type of story with a focus on behavior rather than constant scares, and subplots are introduced and just dropped, such as the therapy group the brother attends. We see them once, then they disappear for the rest of the movie. The ending also can be foreshadowed by some drawings if you know what you are looking for, but the movie doesn't do a good job of identifying that, so some people may miss it. I will also admit that some of the acting is wooden and the dialogue is silly at times because it repeats itself, but since I liked the idea of perspective shifts, I didn't mind the repetition one bit personally. 825 Forest Road has many flaws and an ending that I straight up disliked, but the two women's plights in this movie, as well as the mystique of the town itself, propelled me long enough that I don't have any hesitation recommending this to people. You just need to be in the mood for a slow burn with a bad payoff at the end. I give 825 Forest Road a marginal 3 stars out of 4. The feelings about grief popped out so strong for me that I was able to look past the rest of the words that were surrounding that message. Okay, so 825 Forest Road. What is everyone's thoughts on this? Please let me know. This isn't the best Shudder horror film released this year. That would easily be The Dead Thing. But I do think it's right on par with The Rule of Jenny Penn, which I also liked. Anyway, if you like this, please like and subscribe. Follow me on social media if you like. And until next time, I am Ghost.